Tuesdays is known as $2 Tuesdays at WagerTalk.com and SportsMemo.com, where you can get the hottest handicappers' best bet for only $2.
Welcome into the NBA Tip-Off Show here at WagerTalk TV. I'm Megan Payton, here to break down the first round of the NBA playoffs. It continues tonight, 3 games on the slate, and 3 of the best handicappers to break it all down. We have Tony Finn, Ski Prophet, and Tony Mejia that's going to be joining us here in a bit to talk all the action that is happening around the association. Before we break in our first game out east, let's go around and see what these guys have got going on. Ski Prophet, how are you, and what do you have going on at WagerTalk.com?
I'm doing all right, and I do have a lot of plays, up and they're not posted like as packages, but they're out for people who are subscribers. So if you want to be involved, get an all-access pass, and you can ride with me. I know the NBA has been treating me nicely. Like close to the last 90 plays, I think I'm about 63, a little bit over 63%. So try to keep that going and talk out some winners here on the show with you two.
We'll give Mejia here in a bit, but let's talk to the other Tony Finn. How are you, and what do you have going on at WagerTalk?
I have baseball and I have NBA up. I have both. I have 2 of the 3 NBA games tonight, with positions inside of those games, with a couple top player props. And in baseball, I have a 3-pack, a triple header. No props as of yet, but still looking for some intel. So both baseball, NBA. NBA's on a pretty good run, 12-4 the last couple weeks. So 12-4.
Great stuff. We're going to get into all 3 games tonight, and we'll end the show with our best bet section. First up on the slate, the Atlanta Hawks in Boston taking on the Celtics. I'm in Boston right now, and the energy is high after a huge Celtics win the other night. Tip-off at 7 Eastern. Celtics minus 10.5. The total's at 230.5. The Celtics now lead the series 1-0. Boston dominated with a 30-point lead at half. The Celtics were able to win the 3-point battle. They were shooting 39%. Also had more rebounds than Atlanta. The Hawks could not keep up. Ski, do they bounce back tonight out in Boston?
I don't know if they'll get a win. I do trust this Atlanta team a little bit more at home, but I think they can cover the number. Just looking at how they played last game, looking at the rebounds even, I can make sense of that. I think Al Horford is kind of taking Capella away from the rim a little bit, and that's making them struggle more on the boards. So hopefully they have a game plan for that. And I just don't think they'll shoot as bad as they did in that game. Like they shot 17% from 3. You're going to do a lot better than that. And they shot 39% from the field. So they did all of that, and they still only lost by 13 points. They're giving you 10.5 here. So I trust Trae Young, and the combination of DeJounte Murray. I know it didn't translate there in game 1. I didn't have Atlanta in game 1, but I just think this is too many points for a team that just got embarrassed, on a national stage in that first game of the series. So I think they'll bounce back. I think they'll start off really strong if you're more of a first half or first quarter player, but I just played the 10.5 points. I don't always get involved in those quarter bets.
When we get into the NBA playoffs, a big topic of discussion is the zigzag method. And that is when a team loses, you should then bet them against the spread. I have a little bit of a problem doing this with an Atlanta team going up against a bigger, stronger physical team in the Boston Celtics. Boston's better offensively, they're better defensively, and now they're laying 10.5 points. Tony Finn, are you going to ride with the zigzag method with Atlanta tonight?
The zigzags they only apply to me one variable of life, and that's rolling tobacco, not in basketball. That's the only time zigzags come into play. So, no, I don't. Zigzags, I don't buy that. I mean, it depends. Zigzags apply when 2 teams really know each other. Maybe they're evenly matched. You have a spread +5, -5 in that range there. I really liked the Celtics in this series. In fact, I played them -3.5 in the future. I thought they would sweep Atlanta for several reasons. One, because as a huge fan of Quinn Snyder, because he's one of the more predictable head coaches in the league, and he's pretty transparent. He'll tell you what he's going to do, what he's not going to do, which is what all of us should like. And for the most part, he's a straightforward. So that said, here's the problem: Atlanta's playing small. Even they're playing small, and Boston can go small with them. That's really the biggest problem for Atlanta. That front court, as Ski mentioned. But the two guards, I mean, the backcourt is just lopsided. Brown and Tatum are so much stronger, more physical, longer, better shooters than both Murray and Young. And I was shocked. When we talked about this game a week ago, or heading into the game one on Saturday, I thought, listen, I would play under the 3-point shots for both Brown and for Tatum, because I thought they would back their guys in, or they would be taking it to the rim, absolutely taking it into the paint, to the rim, and challenging Capella and the smaller front court of the Hawks. Now, the problem is that the Hawks really sagged. I mean, they just basically said, listen, you're going to have to beat us. You're not going to beat us at the rim because we know you have that advantage. But they shot so well early on. They got that 32-point lead, 30-point lead at halftime, 32 points was a large lead. And then they really backed off in the second half. They played soft defensively. They let Young and Murray get some points. They did some things that they even talked about post-game on that, Megan, and that was that they had to be careful because that 32-point lead went down to 12 points at one point in time, and that's something that goes in their mind. The players are, they're having a great time in the second half. They're up by 30. They come out of the locker room, and next thing you know, there's that feeling, hey, we might blow this. So I don't think you're going to see them let up like you did in game one, and I don't see Atlanta being able to stay within 10 points of Boston, save a poor shooting night from Tatum and from Brown. I like Boston in this game tonight. I like them to cover the number, much like I liked Philly yesterday, who played horrible in the first half. I mean, they played just horrible. But over 48 minutes, usually talent wins out, and I think that's the case here with Boston, Atlanta in Boston.
I'd expect Atlanta to shoot a little better than what they did a couple nights ago. Trae Young had 16 points, but he was 5 of 18 from the field, 1-5 from beyond the arc. Now, you look at a Boston team. How about Jaylen Brown? He put up 29 points, a game high, yet he's got a cut on his right hand from cutting it with a vase, planting, gardening, something crazy. Tony Mejia joins us now. We're talking Celtics Hawks. Celtics are laying 10.5 points. We talked a little bit about the zigzag method if we're buying into it. So, Mejia, how are you going to approach this one out in Boston tonight? Oh, Mejia, we can't hear you. Maybe you're muted. Let's see. All right,
you can't hear me at all?
Mejia's. There we go. We got you.
Hold on a second.
All right, as we wait for Mejia to come back, we will jump in. We have him. All right, Mejia, it is your mic. Let's hear it. What do you got for this Celtics-Hawks game?
I mean, look, honestly, I didn't expect Boston to blow out Atlanta the way that they did in the first half of that game, even though a lot of people did. So from that standpoint, I thought that they did a really nice job of saying, hey, it's the playoffs. We're the defending champions, and let's roll. That being said, Atlanta was able to nearly catch them and cover that spread. So the Hawks were a couple of shots away from covering that 9.5, 10-point spread in that first game. So we'll see if Trae Young is able to show up and make a big difference in covering the spread here in game two. There certainly isn't anything that's going to prevent him from seeing anything that he hasn't seen before in this contest. Now, Marcus Smart has done a really nice job of doing what he does in terms of disrupting opposing point guards, but it'll be. I mean, this is going to be a good test for Quinn Snyder, especially as he goes forward, for him to really judge what he's got with his current team.
The Hawks need to take more threes. We got to see more production out of Trae Young, DeJounte Murray, and hopefully they can just stay in this game against Boston and get one win in this series. Before we switch over to the next game, Bahia, you have joined us now at NBA Tip-Off, so we want to hear what you've got going on at WagerTalk.com as we are entering the crazy time of the NBA playoffs.
There is a 5% play. I believe I'm 7-1 in my last 8 5% plays. And there is a max play out tonight, which I'm very excited about. Number one this season in 5% plays in the NBA. Number one all since October of 2020, since joining WagerTalk, in all 5% profits, over 170 units in all 5% play profits. So there is a max play out there, y'all. So go get it.
So head over to WagerTalk.com and get some bets from our cappers. But let's get some free plays. We've got more NBA to talk about. Let's look at the Knicks versus the Cavs. Tip-off 7:30 Eastern. Cavs laying 5.5, and the total's at 214. The Knicks, yes, that's right. The New York Knicks lead this series 1-0. New York won outright as a 5-point dog. Cavs got out-rebounded. They only shot 43% from the field. And look, there's a lot of pressure on Cleveland tonight to win with this home court advantage before headed to Madison Square Garden. Tony Finn, how do you approach this one? Cavs -5.5.
Well, I like Cleveland in this series. I liked them in game one. I played them, backed them in game one. And there was some outliers, some variables and some metrics that the Knicks performed to that did not allow Cleveland to. Cleveland made a nice little run at the end of the game. In fact, they took the lead with within the final minutes of the game. I thought they would end up winning that game. They didn't. The Knicks hit more guarded shots, mid-range, elbows, and three-pointers against Cleveland than they have since I think it was sometime at a game in November. And when that's kind of when they made their starting line changes. The biggest question mark for Cleveland is what they do with that in that fifth spot or that fifth man, the man that is Okoro, for instance, is defensive minded, good defensive player, not too much on the offensive end of the court. That means he's not efficient or his skill set doesn't suit that. Is that the way they want to go? Because what the Knicks did in game one was they just essentially ignored him. It was almost as the Knicks were, or the Cleveland was playing 4-on-5 in half-court sets. Cleveland did not do enough in transition. The Knicks were really good in transition. There were so many things that were different about that game. Not that regular season and the NBA playoffs are or should be comparable. They're not. That game was really a physical game, a game that the Knicks favored or benefited greatly from that. Not that Cleveland's not a physical team, they can be, but the Knicks present some matchup issues. I did not believe that Randall would be that effective and that efficient, although I thought he was save a couple long shots that I couldn't believe he made, was pedestrian. Tonight, I think you'll see a different Cleveland team. They'll make some adjustments. I trust Pete Bickerstaff to do the things he has to do, especially in that in that fifth spot there. Whether Okoro is more aggressive, whether Bickerstaff goes in a different direction. Right now, I'm showing Okoro is going to be will be starting in that number 5 spot, and I expect to see more. I expect you to see more from the backcourt, not just Mitchell. But you see more scoring spread out, and Mitchell doesn't have to score 35 to even keep it close last game. I still like the Hawks. I'm shocked. I'm surprised a little bit that this number actually climbed, or they made an adjustment to your zigzag theory, Megan, which was it's the only thing it can be because the Hawks didn't the Cavaliers didn't show much of anything that would threaten the Knicks if it was a play out exactly like it was in game one. I expect Cleveland's the best team at home. They're the best home team in the NBA this year, and I think Rocket Mortgage will be rocking tonight.
The Knicks were impressive. Game one, Jalen Brunson with 27 points. Julius Randle, Josh Hart both got double-doubles. Josh Hart questionable today with a left sprained ankle. His status was doubtful earlier. It's now moved up to questionable. Mejia, how much of an impact is Josh Hart's status on this game? Hart has been one of the best wing defenders for the New York Knicks. I'd like to think it's somewhat significant.
No, it's immense. I mean, I think he's been the difference maker since he got acquired. There is I mean, like, look, Tom Thibodeau does what he does, right? In terms of playing players 42 minutes as far as starters. This gives him depth. This is a guy that has been able to, come in and meld himself within the fabric of what the Knicks want to do without requiring having the basketball. I mean, this is a perfect Tom Thibodeau player. Like he goes and he gets offensive rebounds. He's a forward that really can't shoot but doesn't need the ball. And then when he gets shot, when he gets the ball off, I mean he's somewhat effective. And again, I think the difference, as Tony Finn said, between him and Isaac Okoro made what game one was. I mean, it was a sense where they could leave Okoro open and live with the results. And then Josh Hart comes in the game for the New York Knicks, does the same thing that Okoro does in terms of guarding perimeter defenders, perimeter offensive players, I should say, as a perimeter defender, and still is effective on the offensive end. So definitely, it'll be interesting to see what happens with him health-wise and if he's effective tonight. Look, the bottom line, though, is can Jarrett Allen and Evan Mobley show up tonight? Because they did not in game one. They were overwhelmed in game one. Mitchell Robinson dominated them on the offensive glass and getting the Knicks extra chances. Julius Randle, despite the ankle injury, comes in and had a field day getting into the paint where he shouldn't have. So that's going to be very interesting tonight if Mobley and Jarrett Allen really respond in game two where they did not in game one.
Cavs Knicks already feels like a series that's going to game 7. Yes, I'm saying that right now, but only after one game. Donovan Mitchell puts up 38 points, yet Cleveland doesn't get in. So what do they have to do tonight? I'd say Cavs got to make some adjustments defensively. We have to see another big game from Donovan Mitchell. And the New York Knicks have to be a little bit off. Ski Profit, what's your lean out there, Cleveland versus Knicks?
I feel like Cleveland will be a lot more ready in this game, especially guys like Evan Mobley, who I'm pretty sure that was his first playoff game. So just getting a little bit of playoff experience under your belt, just knowing how good Cavaliers have been at home all season, and in this kind of a situation in the playoffs and game two, it's a little bit of a must-win, desperation type of spot. You cannot go on the road down 0-2. So even if you look at the database, it'll tell you the same exact thing. Home favorites in game two after losing the first game as a favorite. They're close. I think they're about a little bit above 77% against the spread the last 5 seasons. And it just makes sense. Like, I understand you saw the Knicks look really good in game one. It looks really good to take the points again. But I think you get a really good max effort from everybody on the Cavaliers, and they'll make a little bit of adjustment. So I'll roll with what the database says, roll with who I think is the better team in general, and the team at the house. So that's the Cavaliers.
Cleveland was the top defensive team in the regular season. The under cashed a couple nights ago, 216. It's now at 214. We switch over to a game out west. That is the Suns and the Clippers. Phoenix at home at 10 Eastern. Suns laying 8 points, total at 227. The Clippers with a huge upset against the Suns in game one, 115 to 110. LA got off to a huge lead in the first quarter, and it essentially was Phoenix trying to play catch up the entire game. This is the first game the Suns lost since the trade for Kevin Durant, with now his 8th straight playoff loss. Tony Mejia, do you have any leans out there in Phoenix tonight?
I won a 4% play on the under in game one, under 225.5, and it landed 225. So it was an amazing sweat, and it was one of those games, though, that really started off slow. As anticipated, I thought that the Clippers would grind. I did not expect the Clippers to win outright, and therefore I did not play the Clippers. and I should have. And so now we're in a situation where the Phoenix Suns can absolutely win game 2, and so can the Clippers. But I'm leaning towards Phoenix, evening this thing up. I really do believe that they've got this in them. It was a 30-18 lead in game 1 for the Clippers after one quarter, and then the Suns really rallied to in quarters 2 and 3 to take the advantage back. But this is one of those games where you're going to see how unified, I guess, the Suns are, because we really haven't seen much of this group. Kevin Durant unfortunately hurt his ankle in warmups during a time where it would have been a transition period for him to learn exactly how to play with Chris Paul, Devin Booker, and DeAndre Ayton. And we didn't see that. So now we'll get to see it, but we'll get to see it on the fly. And the Clippers obviously don't have Paul George. They just got Morris back from an injury. We do understand what Russell Westbrook can do on both ends of the floor, but he didn't shoot well, and yet was the difference maker on defense down the stretch against the Suns. So I think this is a definitely a Phoenix spot, but I'm not. I'll tell you this: I am not touching this spread.
Yeah, I wouldn't touch it either unless you're in favor of LA. The Clippers have the better bench. Kawhi Leonard had the game of the night with 38 points, 5 rebounds, 5 assists. And the Clippers just played more physical. They were the better coach team. And even if the Suns get the win, 8 points seems like a little bit too much to lay in a competitive series that it might turn into, even though we might have thought prior Phoenix was going to be ahead. Ski, will you lay -8 with Phoenix?
I absolutely will not. I agree with what you guys are saying, that I was on the Clippers in game 1, and my thought process was I just don't trust the Suns. They don't have the chemistry yet, and they don't have the bench depth. And Kawhi, I said he could be the best player on the floor in this series. So I played the Clippers +7. They got the win outright. I wouldn't be surprised if they covered the big number again. I just don't trust the Suns to do it. Now, as far as the spot is concerned, it's absolutely a Sun spot for all the reasons that I even talked about in the Cavaliers game. You cannot go on the road down 0-2 and feel good about yourself and expect to win that series. So must win for the Suns tonight. I just can't expect them to do it by this number. I also have over 5.5 games in the series, so I want the Suns to win. This is a game where I'm just going to sit back and watch. I guess if I have to make a recommendation, this is a spot where you're supposed to play the Suns or pass, and I will be passing.
Not only has KD struggled in the playoffs, the Suns have struggled to have success as of late in the postseason. Maybe a spot to look at the total. It's at 227. Booker and Durant shot a combined shots of 34 in the game. I expect that to go up a bit, and if that's going to go up, potentially a spot on the over. Tony Finn, do you lean here with the spread or the total?
Well, I would say this. I will say that I think Phoenix get better at every single game as long as they're still alive and they're still part of the bracket, NBA title bracket. They'll get better with each game. The Clippers win by 5. You look at the numbers in these games, you'll find that they're almost a wash. Shooting percentages, second chance points, et cetera, et cetera. So would it be a surprise to see Phoenix reverse this tonight, win by 5 or 8? No, not. It wouldn't surprise me, not one bit. Something happened on Sunday that had never happened before, and that was the Suns lost with Durant on the floor. So that was the first time they'd lost. They'd played pretty well with him on the floor. Not that they're playing playoff basketball. As far as the total goes, you saw 115, 110, basically 225 points. And that was with two teams that went to the line 60 times. They went to the line 60 times. Both teams shot right around 78, 79% from the free throw line. I don't think with the officiating crew tonight that you're going to see that many fouls called. So I would expect this to be a physical game, a game that the Suns aren't the best at defending transition possessions, and they really aren't the best in transition. And the Clippers don't have to be either. I like the under. in this game tonight, and I like the Suns to win. An under and covering 8 is not really in this situation in this game with Kawhi, without Paul George and Ringo. It's still going to be a close game. Should be a close game, and I think Durant will have a better game than he had. Really, 7 of 6, 15, 27 points, 10 for 10 free throws. Not horrible. However, I think they'll see him be more aggressive, more active, and if somebody's going to go to the foul line 10 plus times tonight, it will be Kevin Durant.
Chris Paul's got to step it up too if the Suns want to compete out there. Suns lane 8. It's time to switch over to best bets, the favorite part of the NBA tip-off show. We go around and get our panel's bets of the night. 60 seconds on the clock. The only rules are you got to get out in time and you got to give us a best bet. I'm headed down to the sports book tonight, so I need all three of you guys to have your best bets for me. We're going to start with Ski Profit. Show us how it's done. Your 60 seconds starts now.
Yeah, I'm gonna choose this game strictly because, I do like it, but somebody that I respect, that I just did a video with and explained the situation with, is going against it. So I want to go against her, and I'm gonna go with the Cavaliers minus the 5.5, minus the 6 points. This situation, I already talked about it. This is the team that I trust out of the two teams for tonight in this situation. Home favorites after losing as a home favorite in game 1. The last 5 seasons, they are 77.8% against the spread. They win by an average of 14.5 points. And I talked about all the reasons why in the segment before, and that's what I'm rocking with. So Cavs minus the 5.5, minus the 6. That's my best bet.
And with 15 seconds left, Ski, I'll shout you out and say head over to WagerTalk.com. Go check out what Ski Profit has available. Free picks, plays, everything on the NBA Tip-Off Show. But you can also get some of his exclusive picks over at WagerTalk.com. Tony Finn, you have 60 seconds. Let's hear your best bet and your promo for tonight.
Let's go to a TD Garden in Boston, where, according to you, Megan, where you're at, and I wasn't listening. I don't know if you're going to the game tonight. But long story short, let's go. Boston Celtics, Atlanta Hawks over the total. This came in 20 points short of the total in game 1 for several reasons, but you didn't see a big adjustment. You saw a 2-point adjustment in some of the opening numbers and the market value, at least the market price on this.
Hey, we got it. Can you hear us? We got you. Tony Finn, I think we're losing you. You got 16 seconds left. Finish it out.
Can you? Can you hear me? Okay.
We can hear you. Okay, you're good.
I'm right in the middle, so I'm right in the middle of the frame according to my picture. So I'm not sure what you wanted me to do there. I just heard my ear. So let's go on. Again, Boston over the total with Atlanta. The one thing again I mentioned that Quinn Snyder does a terrific job of being transparent. He'll tell you what he's going to do, what he wants to do, what he's told his players he's going to do. And one of the things pregame that he told Atlanta last night was, don't pass up 3-point shots. We want the 3-point shots. Take them, don't pass them up. Miss or make, doesn't matter. With Quinn Snyder as the head coach, this team has gone from being a 31%, especially young, 31% in the paint to the rim, all the way up to a 5% higher, 36. He wants them to be aggressive. He really doesn't care. Quinn doesn't care about defense in this particular team. He knows they can't play defense. So possessions and pace were okay, Megan, for Boston. The problem was neither team really shot that well, but nobody shot as poorly as Atlanta. I like over the 230, 231.5. Depends on your store tonight, but over the total in TD Garden tonight.
Over the total, Tony Finn, it might be the NBA playoffs, but we are breaking too many rules here. Tony Mejia, you have 60 seconds, and you have to get out in 60 seconds. Give us a best bet. Your time starts now.
I love the graphic there with Finn holding up a 4. Hey, look, so I've got a 5% NBA play up, 7-1 run on max plays, 12-5 in the NBA this season. Number 1 last season, number 1 this season in terms of max play profit. So hopefully we can add to that. 20 of the last 28 have connected. Like I said, I have a play that I love. and hopefully it comes through. The over in the Kings and Warriors came through in game one the way it did in game two, because I lost yesterday as a 4% play. But anyway, my top play for tonight is Kawhi Leonard over 28.5 points. He obviously got to 38 in game one. He is the number one scoring option. They're doing whatever they can to get him the ball in his preferred spots to try and offset the Warriors. I think that'll continue tonight. Over 28.5 points for Kawhi Leonard against the Phoenix Suns.
Great timing, Mejia. I like that. I think 28 is a good line for us to get there tonight. Tony Mejia, Tony Finsky, Prophet, with the best bets section on the NBA Tip-Off Show. Here's your best bets recap. Feel free to take a screenshot of this. Go and play the panel's bets tonight. I know that I am going to walk right down from my hotel right now, go get some bets. We appreciate all of you joining us here at the NBA Tip-Off Show. I'm also going to ride with the Clippers plus the points, +8. Phoenix might win the game. I don't think they can cover the 8-point spreads. That's going to be my best bet of the night. Thank you very much for joining us. Go cash some tickets. We'll catch you here next time on the NBA Tip-Off Show.
Tuesdays is known as $2 Tuesdays at WagerTalk.com and SportsMemo.com, where you can get the hottest handicappers, best bet, or daily package for only $2.